Welcome back to Zerby. Before we dive into the topic today, I want to tell you a quick story. And be sure to stay until the very end because I have an announcement that is going to give you the tool set to be able to avoid the same problem that this story is going to dive into. Recently, I had a friend of mine approach me to help give him advice on his Tinder. Now, this is a guy who is pretty good looking. He's been in a relationship for the past 5 or 6 years, got separated, and now he's an older guy. He's almost in his 30s. And he's looking to dive back into dating. Now, before he met women by going to clubs and going to bars, he's never really been into online dating. So now that he's dived in, he's finding it difficult to meet people from Tinder. At best, he meets someone once every week or every 2 weeks, and trust me, he tries. He sends a lot of first messages, and he does match pretty well. And that doesn't surprise me because he is a cool guy. The fact is that online dating is an entirely different animal and you have to approach it differently as well. That's because showing your personality in person is very different than trying to get your personality across in messages. So anyway, I sat down with my friend, I looked at his Tinder, I saw that all of his photos were good. They showed that he was a guy who did a variety of interesting things in his life and had a lot going on, and his bio was good. He didn't come across as a desperate 20-year-old because of course he wasn't. So it was a weird situation. Frankly, I was stumped. There was no reason that this guy should be having these kind of issues. Something had to be going wrong, but I couldn't tell. Anyway, when I looked at his messages, suddenly everything made sense. There were stuff like the girl's name with an exclamation point, or "Hey Mary, how's it going?" or "What's new, Kelsey?" or "Amy, Happy New Year, what did you do?" And that's the sad thing here, is a guy like him who is so interesting and has so much going on comes across as so boring and generic in his messages. And the really scary part is I know where he got that name and the exclamation point thing. He went on Google and typed in Tinder help and then found someone out there on some blog talking about this is the best way to send a first message on Tinder. It might get her attention, but it kind of deadens the conversation after that. You need to go from there. And he wasn't able to. He was just kind of falling into small chat. So I realized a lot of you guys out there might be doing similar things with your opening messages. And I know that's something that comes up again and again, so I wanted to make a video that goes into 3 types of openers that you can use on Tinder or OkCupid or even on text when you meet someone and get their phone number. All of this will work for you. The thing is that the most important aspect of an opening message is it being personalized to her, or if you can't personalize it to her because there's not enough in her bio or profile pictures, personalized to you. You want it to be custom. That's the most important aspect. So keep that in mind as we go through all of these openers. So first off, we'll start with the emoji opener. Now I know at Zerby, we always say don't use emojis, keep away from emojis, but we're not using the emoji as a crutch. We're using it as part of the opening message here. And we're going to add a little personalization. The key is to throw away those generic yellow faces and move into the ones that start to look like you and look like her. Here's an example I sent of an emoji that looks like me. Again, it's very, very simple, but it got her attention. Even if it's just a little bit personalized, that's still enough. Now, of course, you can use emoji openers like this that are way more complicated. And this one, in fact, tells an entire story. But with that said, you can keep it very, very simple. In fact, I'd recommend that. That was just for fun. But it just goes to show you the power of personalization. Next, we have the Gif Opener. This is my low-key favorite way to open a Tinder conversation. Now keep in mind, most guys use GIFs already when they send their opening message, but they're always these like generic images of bears waving and stuff like that. It doesn't mean that it won't work, but if you want to take your opening messages to that next level, you want them to be personalized to something that you see in her profile or something that you specifically see about her. So here's an example. I saw in her profile that she mentioned that she loves Bill Nye the Science Guy. Well, I rhymed it with a Guy Fieri meme and made it personal to her. This both showed my sense of humor, the things that I find funny, but also again, related it to something specifically about her in her profile, the Bill Nye. Finally, best of all, we have the personal opener. In my opinion, this is far superior to any kind of first message you can send on any platform. Sure, it might not have the flash of emojis or GIFs, but it is the gold standard. Not every girl is going to respond back to every emoji opener because they're a little immature. And not every girl is going to respond to your GIF because they might not be millennial enough. But a personal message works. Typically, guys send copy-pasted lines to as many women as possible because Not all the girls respond, and the less girls that respond, the more you feel like you need a bigger net that you throw out there, and you kind of move further and further away from being personal. It's a positive feedback loop, which despite the name is not a positive thing. What you should be doing is making your messages more concise and more personal, not moving away from that. Now, this is so specific to each specific kind of girl, so it would be really hard for me to show it all in one YouTube video. After all, what you need is a system so you always know exactly what message to send that's personal right from the start. A system that is literally easier and way more effective than spending all your time Googling lines and pasting them into tons of conversations. A system that is faster than searching for GIFs. A system that you always have on hand so when you get your match with her, you can start off on the right foot. Well, good news. I'm gonna be doing a 100% free webinar on this very topic. I revealed the system from start to finish, no strings attached. I don't know about you, but I learn best when I see things. Everyone has answers, but until I see it, I don't believe it. Well, that's why this webinar is not going to be just theory. We are going to be showing you example after example after example of real Tinder openers used in real Tinder messages. You won't just see the system, you'll know how it works firsthand. Whether you already get a lot of matches on Tinder and you just want to convert a higher percentage of them onto dates, or you're a guy who's just starting out and you don't want to mess up the matches that you do get by sending the wrong kind of opening message. This webinar will give you everything you need to succeed, and we'll do it regardless of how much success you've had in the past, regardless of your looks, your ethnicity, your location. On top of that, we're going to be doing a live Q&A at the end of the webinar. Our big hairy goal is to answer every single question that comes in. I know that's a pretty big goal, and the bad news is we are going to be limiting the number of seats available so the thing doesn't flood up and we're not able to get through even half the questions. And because the guys who are on our email list got first dibs, the number of remaining seats is already shrinking. So don't wait, RSVP right now by clicking the link below, punching your name and email, and you will reserve your seat at the 100% free webinar. Do this now so you don't forget and don't lose out. Considering that this is a 100% free webinar, there is nothing to lose and everything to gain. All right, guys, I will see you at the webinar, and be sure to come with questions so when we do that live Q&A, you're gonna be ready, prepared, and get your answers immediately. Talk soon.